Hey everybody, hope you guys are doing good. Today we're going to do a little cook kit demonstration. Um, some of us on YouTube got together and decided to do a little collaboration video. We all decided we'd get our favorite cook kits out and show them off and cook a little something in them. So all the people that are participating, I'm going to link them down below. So check those guys out as well and check their cook kits out. And the good thing about this is you can look at people's cook kits and you can get ideas of how to tweak your own cook kit and make it work for you the best. That's why I like these kinds of videos. So we're going to show them off and then we're going to cook a little something in them. So stay tuned. So many cook sets and so little time. But today's is going to be about my favorite cook set. I'm going to pick one of these. We're going to go over the contents and we're going to cook a little something. So today is going to be this cook set. Okay, let's talk about why I like this particular cook set so much. First of all, I picked the cook set I'm going to take on any particular trip based on the trip. So if I was going out with my wife, Kathy, or somebody else that we were sharing the cooking duties and cooking gear, then obviously I would take something bigger than this. And depending on the type of trip that I might go on also, I might take something a little bit different. If I'm going to be going out and doing a lot of hiking and just a little bit, you know, just set up camp at night and cook something real quick and go to bed, then I might take something like a canister stove that would cook a little faster. But let's go through this and I'll talk about why I like it so much as we go. It's based off the Musa 0.7 milliliter pot, and I like that because it's very inexpensive. And I made this pot cozy myself out of some Reflectix. So that's inexpensive. The lid I made myself. I cut out just a Monster Juice lid, and I have a destructible about that on the Couch to Trail blog. If you want to know how to do that, it's very simple. This is my heat. I use heat in the yellow bottle, and this is what I keep it in. This is a Mio squeeze bottle, just repurposed to carry heat. This little sport came with another cook set that I got a long time ago, and the reason I use it in here is because it fits. It's not my favorite sport, but it fits in here, so that's why I carry it in here. I keep this little piece of carbon felt for when the handle gets hot so I can pick it up. And I have this little piece of bandana so I can dry things off or wipe things out or clean things up as needed. And this is a cat food Fancy Feast homemade stove that I made myself. Very inexpensive and very efficient. And this is how I measure out the liquid that I'm going to cook with. This is about half an ounce up to 15 milliliters, and of course you double that and you get an ounce. This is a titanium windscreen. It was actually part of another kit I got from Zelf, wood gas stoves. I actually did a video when I unboxed that stove, and I like that stove a lot, but it's not my favorite, and I'll tell you why here in just a minute. So I got this titanium windscreen. I want to make my own for it, just make a couple of changes. But for now, this will do because it fits in there really nice and nests in there. And everything nests inside this 0.7 liter mug from Imusa. So I'll throw a picture of that up so you can see a new one, so you can see what it is. And you can get those in various places. Sometimes they even sell them in Walmart. Anyway, it's perfect for one person. Now there's a couple of reasons that I really like this kit. And the first thing is everything nests so nicely inside the pot. The first thing I do is I take my windscreen and I just sort of fold it up and stick it in. And it fits in just right and doesn't take any room really inside the pot. Next thing I do is I take my Fancy Feast and set it down inside the bandana you see there. And the bandana also dampens all the rattling and stuff that you hear sometimes in cook pots. So that works out well too. So then I just tuck that in. And that's a done deal. Next, I just take my alcohol, my Mio bottle with alcohol in it, slide that right in. My little piece of carbon felt, my little piece of carbon felt slides right in there. The spoon gets a little tricky because it likes to stick up a little bit, but once I get it in there, nice. Then I place my lid on, just sort of squeeze it around the top so it stays in place, and then it goes into the pot cozy itself. Put this on top. When I take the rubber band off, I usually put that around my wrist so I can just slap this rubber band around here, and that just keeps everything nice and neat so that doesn't go flying off when I pack it. And that's really that's all there is to it. It's very simple cook kit, very easy to use, and I like it because it nests so easily in that fashion, and it's very packable that way. Now, another reason I really like it is you saw everything, practically everything in there is homemade. So aside from that titanium windscreen, which, you know, if you get some titanium and make it yourself, you can get off a little cheaper. Like I said, that windscreen came with another kit I got. That's probably the most expensive thing in there. If all you're going to do is use a windscreen, you can use aluminum for a lot less, and you can get your aluminum out of a disposable cookie sheet or something like that, and that would cost a lot less as well. But I'd probably, you know, $10 maybe I have in this thing aside from the titanium. There's my cook kit. I'm going to make a little something with it, and then we'll go from there. All right, I'm back in my hammock. So now you know about my cook kit. You know why I like it. Really love that thing. So now I'm going to cook something in it. And when I say cook something, I use that term loosely. All I ever do out on the trail is I just rehydrate food, basically. So I boil water in my pot and I rehydrate whatever I took out there. I don't cook out there. I'm not that elaborate. Now, one thing I will make is cowboy coffee. So I'm going to make some cowboy coffee. I really like it. It's smoother. The coffee tastes smoother. I use the same stuff I use in my brewer at home, but it tastes smoother when I make it this way. So I'm going to make that. I'm going to show you how to make it if you don't know already. There are different ways to make it. I'd recommend looking up some different ways on the YouTube or wherever you go to get your information, because my way is not the only way and maybe even not the best way, but it works for me, and that's what I'm going to do. All right, so I got my Fancy Feast fueled up and primed up and ready to go. And now I'm going to add my water. And what I do is the cup I'm drinking out of, if I'm just making enough water for cowboy coffee, I just put as much in there as I want, which is usually, you know, a pretty full pot, pretty full mug. And then just a smidgen more because the grounds is going to soak up some. Put that in there. And now I'm ready to go. Then you want to carefully set this down on the fire so you don't tip your stove over or anything crazy like that. Now before it gets too hot, you want to go ahead and add your coffee grounds. And for just one cup like that, I usually put about a tablespoon. So about a tablespoon per cup, I guess you'd say it comes out to. And now you just keep an eye on it. When it gets close to boiling, there's some steps you have to take, and I'll go over that with you when we get that far. If you can see, the coffee is spread over the entire surface, and it'll do that. And that's the reason you've got it. When you're making cowboy coffee, you've really got to babysit it. You can see it's starting to steam a little bit. If you bring it to a boil too fast, it'll boil over. So once it starts getting close, you gotta find some way to regulate the heat. For instance, if you're cooking on a stove, you can reduce the flame. But since we're cooking with an alcohol stove, you got to take a different approach. So what I'm going to do is when it starts getting close, I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to stir it a little bit to get those grounds to sink. Then I'm going to put it back on there because you want your coffee to boil for a good couple of minutes before you drink it. So I'll bring it back when we get that far. Okay, I'm starting to see a couple of small bubbles starting to come up, so we're going to have to, now's when you have to sort of babysit your cowboy coffee. It's getting close to a boil. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to be picking it up. You can also break up the surface tension that the grounds create by using your spoon gently. And you can see when it's around the edges there, it's going to start to bubble up some. You just want to moderate that a little bit by sort of picking it up, and then just give it a good little stir. Those grounds, as it gets hot, they'll sink to the bottom, and it looks like they've done that now, so I'm going to put it back down. There we go. See, we saved it from boiling over there. Now you want to let that boil for a couple of minutes. And the rest of those grounds, as it boils, they'll sink down. That's a pretty boil. So after it's boiled for a couple of minutes, then all you need to do is take it off the fire and just let it rest for a couple of minutes. Let those grounds settle, let that boil die down. So we're going to do that. We're going to let it rest for a few minutes, and then we'll come right back. All right, guys, it's the coffee settled down for a few minutes. You don't want it to get cold, of course, but it's ready to pour up. So to finally settle the grounds, there's several methods from what I understand. One method is you can put eggshells in it. Well, I'm not doing that. Another method is you could add a slug of cold water, and that's supposed to settle the grounds. And that may work. Other people have tried that with success. But that's not what I do. What I do is, and this is how I learned to do it, is strike the side of your container with something metal, and that will settle the grounds. Why it does it, I don't know, but so that's supposed to settle the grounds. That's what worked for me, and that's the way I do it. And now all we have to do is pour it up. And I have yet to get grounds in my coffee, so I'll pour it up. And I can see as it comes over the lip there, there's no grounds in it. Looks like a nice clean cup of coffee. I don't want grounds in my coffee, y'all. And if you're making cowboy coffee, I guess you run that risk. But so far, so good for me. I haven't had any grounds in mine yet. I don't know if you can see, but the grounds they're still in the bottom there. Now if I could pour up just a little bit more. Don't want to waste it if I can help it. And now I'm going to enjoy a cup of coffee in my hammock. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I did making it. It's always a lot of fun to put stuff like this together. Get out and enjoy yourself some cowboy coffee. Get your cook kit, tuned in the way you like it. And we'll hope to see you out there on the trail.